Hello, welcome to the I Am Badass podcast. This is Lani, and I'm going to start off with a question today, girl. I would like to know who has ever told you that you can have it all, but even deeper than that, who has shown you? Because people love to be like, oh, but I look in the mirror and I say I'm beautiful, and I am working out and I don't know why I'm fat. I'm working out, or I don't know why these horrible relationships are happening. Well, saying that you are worthy and you should be happy and you should be beautiful. I just talked to a new client about this yesterday. She's like, I have freaking tried everything. I have done therapy, and you don't even know how many, everybody that I speak to that's done therapy is like, hey, because, you love honesty and you were only honor the truth. I feel worse now. And my new client yesterday was like, all I do is complain the whole time, and I'm just freaking strengthening my negativity, complaining muscles. And I sit there and I'm like, and I'm like, I know exactly. Everything is a muscle. If all we do is complain about what we don't have, we're gonna be really fucking great at that. And when it comes time to quit making excuses, it's so gnarly. We want to be here, but we're here. And in between is just excuses of why I can't do that because I'm trying. So I love asking women, and this is my purpose for showing up here every day. And the clients that are in my program now, I just got goosebumps, are just feeling this at a fucking soul level. Holy shit, my whole life I've been surrounded by women who are miserable, negative. Either they don't have the relationship, and every relationship they've been in is horrible, and they've been with addicts and it's been negative and abusive, and they've been momming their partners and it's just been miserable. And they just go oh, this is just the way it is. This is how men are. Be happy that you have one. Or women who are surrounded by, women who are oh, it's so hard to be rich. Oh, I'll never be rich. Oh, it's so exhausting working. So of course, money's this huge struggle for them. Or women who have a successful business that are oh, I can't work out because I'm fat because I'm working all the time and I can't have it all. So I have to have money. So I clearly identify this all the time. And my purpose for showing up here and creating this movement is not because I love telling everybody what a fucking disaster that I was, the most insecure. If you guys could have seen the shit that I used to pull, my episodes were crazier than Britney Spears when she was having her episode. The shit and the psychotic shit that went through my fucking head. Don't think a bitch wasn't crazy and I was this calm person who just had a normal life and then got these strategies and then learned how to be a leader and a feminine icon. No. I was a fucking psycho. So that's the other thing. People come at me with oh, I have to take meds and I have this diagnosis. And I'm okay, what the fuck is so bad? Tell me your problems. I can't sleep. I was yeah, bitch, no one can sleep when they hate themselves and when they're in their head. What? Oh, I got broken up with and I went into severe depression. I was of course, everybody who hates themselves and who feels their self-worth comes from a partner goes into severe fucking depression. This shit isn't a reason for us to then take another step to be more miserable and more unhappy by numbing out even harder, complaining even more, and going on meds or using booze or fucking random people to make us feel good about ourselves. I was not this amazing person who had all these opportunities. I was super poor. I was sexually abused as a child, and my idea of pleasure was so fucked up because I connected pleasure to abuse. I never felt like I was good enough. I would get stomach aches, obviously, because in me, my trauma at being abused, and then this perfectionist and never feeling seen and heard and not good enough and having to take care of everybody when I was 5. This is dude, shit doesn't get better too. No wonder I had a breakdown and wanted to die. We lie to ourselves and it's oh, it's going to get better. It's not. We have momentum either way. The universe doesn't know the difference between good and bad or positive and negative. You have momentum. So either what you're doing is making you more miserable and more unhappy every day until you fucking snap, or what you're doing is making you stronger and rising above ego and more embodied, and learning how to be happy, confident, and worthy gets easier and stronger every day. There's not a stay the same. Momentum is momentum. Either if you're pumping the bike, it doesn't matter if you're going forward or backward. You think that you're going to stay the same just because you're pedaling backward? No, bitch. You're going backward. And that is a fucking lie. So if you're like, oh my God, I've been lying to myself, well, you're welcome for that one. And like, you have the chance and the opportunity. But I was one crazy bitch. I had anger to freaking like out of this world. I was so insecure, and everything in my subconscious programming led me to, I can't I can't have all the money because of this, and this. I can't love my body and be an orgasmic energy because of this, and this. I can't have a dude who loves me and I am his queen. And oh my God, my standards used to be like, oh, I hope I don't get cheated on. That was my standard not that long ago. That was my fucking standard for a husband. Like subconsciously. Of course, I'd like fantasize, because we always love to tell our damn selves that we are this amazing fantasy. And it's like, you ain't this amazing fantasy. You don't love your body. You're not living in purpose. You're not changing and healing the world. So what fantasy are you living in, except for you're pedaling the bike and you're going backward? And this means, like, seriously sit and feel, because everybody loves to do the me show. But when I see somebody being an asshole and they're super negative and they're only putting other people down because they're really insecure, I used to hang out in so many groups like that and then be like, why do they pick on me? Well, bitch, you chose to hang out in negative groups like that. But I just experienced this past weekend with a group of dudes, and they were just so threatened by anything different, by anything amazing, by anything successful, and just such a negative energy emanating from them. They're sitting in the same fucking cafe for like the last 5 years doing nothing, just talking shit and emanating negative energy. And I'm like, you're literally hurting everyone and everything because you spraying out negative energy. What you think it, like, literally envision it like this. You have been given this divine gift too. And like, picture it like a hose, like a spray, but except for its energy. So it never stops. It's not like water where it hits a wall and it's energy. So nothing can stop it. It goes through buildings. It goes through clouds. It goes through countries. It goes through time. It's infinite and never ending. And I know this because I work on this frequency. I literally, every time I get a client, the woman I hear this every time. Holy fuck, I've got goosebumps. I couldn't have fought it. I felt this pull to you so strong. You are speaking the truth. You have cut to my soul, and you're the only one that is saying anything that I can relate to, because everyone else is like, oh, just manifest, just fucking journal, just think positive. And she's like, that doesn't help. I've been trying to think positive for fucking 10 years and I want to die. Like, that's not helping. So I know that when we switch it, and the beautiful part is it's not, I literally even got my nipples hard on that. That's what happens when my truth comes in and my orgasmic energy lights up. The women in my program know about that. I'm like, dude, what makes your nipples hard, your yoni tingle and give you goosebumps? Because this is our orgasmic healing energy. Like, in that moment, I'm a vessel, and that shit is sending out healing vibes everywhere to everything all the time. So vice versa. And I can see this so clearly because I used to literally poison the earth in my low vibe and my low frequency. And it's crazy because we have this idea in society that you have to be like a monster. And like, you have to be this horrible person, this evil person. We have all these like monsters that we think, oh, well, we can see that they're hurting others because we have this connection to their in power and their, we just have this full box of like, oh, well, I can see that, the only way you can actually hurt people is if you're a leader and you're not doing the right thing and you're masculine and you're greedy and, you're an asshole and you're like prejudiced or whatever. We have this like perfect box of like, well, but I'm not hurting anybody when I'm being, prejudice. Dude, the shit that's happening right now with us judging everyone and everything. So I'm talking about literally rejecting anything different than you because you're so fucking threatened by success because you're so low and your self-worth is so low. So I do a full healing session and several healing sessions on this because I pulled this shit when I was a yogi. I was hurting the earth and everybody around me just as much as a freaking evil leader. There was no difference, but I was like, oh, I'm a yoga teacher. But I'd be judging people and anybody different. Oh, you don't surf? That's like a huge one that I like picked up in Bali. I loved that fucking judgment program. I grew up in that shit. My family's like the biggest gossipers ever, just super judgmental, puts anybody down that's different because they're so threatened because they'll never have the balls to do it. So I felt real comfortable in that frequency. So as soon as I got to Bali and all the surfers are like, oh, kook, oh, look at his board shorts. So you would even get judged if you weren't even the perfect surfer. I was just telling the story that we judged people that wore booties. Oh, kook. And if I would have worn booties, I had a full near-death experience and almost drowned. It would have helped me so much, but only kooks wear booties. It's what the actual fuck? If you're a surfer, you'll totally freaking know what I'm talking about. So I was sitting there going, I'm a yogi, and I'm like, oh, and I was talking about oneness, and I was talking about cosmic connection, and I was talking about, positive vibrations and sharing truth, but yet I was trapped in my own bubble of totally judging anybody that I felt threatened by, anything that was different than me, which is the complete opposite of what it actually is. This, of course, common fucking sense. This doesn't mean that you're going to go hang out with somebody abusive because boundaries are self-love. So I do not have any friends or any clients. And obviously my partner is super fucking bomb because I will not accept that, because that means that if I'm accepting somebody who's talking shit on everybody and super judgmental and super negative and always grumpy and has a low frequency and always has excuses and judges everybody who's helping the earth, because that's what we do when we help ourselves and when we break through the fucking judgments and the why my lives are harder and they're different and they're wrong. When we stop putting out negative energy, that means that we are embodied, and the effect is we're healing the earth. So again, it's as simple as if you're alive, just seriously, let me simplify this, dude, for a 5-year-old. Say that you're being alive and your spirit in your life is pedaling. And this doesn't mean that you fucking need legs or that you have to be moving. This is just an energy, but I'm giving you a picture. You are pedaling. If you're not pedaling, that means you're dead. It doesn't matter if you never get up off the bed for 100 years or if you run 500 marathons. It's not the physical. I'm just using this as an example of this is your spirit, and if you're alive, you're pedaling. You are either only ever pedaling in a state of openness and love and healing, like I learned how to do now and I get to do now, not because I'm perfect, don't get it twisted, but because I don't have any fucking excuses. The gnarliest thing is when somebody says that they want help and then they're defending their right to be miserable. Well, I can't do this because... Or, well, that's not, every fucking excuse in the book. I don't care. I had 1 million. Choke on your excuses. They're not going to touch me because I know that they're bullshit. And what you're really saying is I don't want to be happy. So either we have this momentum like that, or we have the momentum that's negative and hurting. And if we are pedaling backwards, if we are in a state of, so we're shut, we're protected. Somebody that's an asshole, even if they say, oh, I'm just kidding. That's one thing that is so socially acceptable. That's there's in such a low frequency, putting everybody down, judging everybody and going, oh, I'm just kidding. Like, no, you're not. There's no kidding about that. Like, you're miserable and unhappy and you're threatened by success and love. So you have to put it down. Like, that shit runs in my family so strong. And I used to always attract people like that. For me, it was always in men because in my family, the women were less than. So we just didn't even no one hears you. No one listens to you. You're a loser. Like, you're never going to be as strong or successful as a man. And that was a subconscious, unspoken program that I grew up feeling less than everybody. So it was always in the masculine programs that the men in my family get are like, put everybody down, bully, like, there always has to be this me against you. I'm better. I'm right. I'm going to shame you. And so I attracted that for so long in my life. I could tell you these times where I fully would go in being like, I hope this guy doesn't make fun of me. Oh my God, he's such a bully. And then what happens? I fully get the brew of their low frequency because guess what? That's all that I knew. I was like, that's real fucking comfortable. Oh man, the dudes always bully and put you down and you always feel like a piece of shit. That's really comfortable. It's like this match. One of my mentors put it this way. That was and this is how the same way that I describe all my abusive relationships, especially the past marriage, was I'm not a fucking victim. But I thought that love was abuse. So of course I can only match with somebody who thinks the same way. Doesn't matter if you're giving it or getting it. It's the same belief. You can't, now that I have the belief that love is fucking mind-blowing and infinite and pure and beautiful and orgasmic and healing and divine and I could never match with somebody who believes that love is abuse. It's just absolutely impossible. It's completely two different worlds. It doesn't make sense. But one of my mentors put it this way so if you're in a crowd and there's a robber, he will always energetically match with the person that's like, oh, I hope I don't get stolen from. Oh, I hope I don't get robbed. And it's because puzzle piece, they're a perfect match. And it's that is the epitome for everything. The person that's I hope I don't get picked on. I always would. I hope I don't get cheated on. Always would. I hope I'm not going to be fat. I would go into my yoga classes being I hope nobody doesn't pay me today because we'd get stiffed a lot of the times in Bali. Cause where I worked in the freaking jungle. So it was an honor box. They put, and so often I got stiffed and I never got paid for teaching because I was I hope nobody stiffs me today. I hope I get paid. Oh, how can anybody take advantage of me? And it's the gnarliest thing is there's so much waste and chaos on all of these external things when if we could just pause and get to the root of the belief. And so coming back to my full intention of who do you know has it all? Because saying that you can have it all, if I was telling you, oh, you can have it all, but I hated my body. I always had back pain and I couldn't lift. I had a boyfriend who cheated on me, or I was fucking banging guys, or just using Instagram to get attention. The old Lani, I'm describing the old Lani. If I was always scared, oh my God, this client's not going to pay me, or healing is so exhausting. If I was trying to sit here and go, you can have it all, it would be sounding like this, blah, 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 blah. You wouldn't hear anything because the word is not the healing. It is the energy. It is the feeling. And because you feel with conviction that I've fucking done it and I do it every day. And it's you telling me, I can't learn how to ride a bike. I'm yeah, you fucking can. I learned. Everyone else in my programs learned. I just don't accept it. So to the ego, it's so scary to have it all. It's literally the fear of having it all. You would rather eat dog shit and complain and make excuses because I'm always going to hold the frequency of you can have it all. You absolutely can have it all. And this is what the women in my program experience, this, total goosebumps, this full paradigm change, this cracking open, extreme amounts of energy, physical healing, orgasmic healing, money coming in, business opportunities, manifesting dream men, dream clients, dream bodies, fucking doing shit they've never done in their entire life and never thought they could do. Not because I'm going, oh, that's hard. Are you sure you want to do that? Like, what the fuck? How would that? Or because if that's how I would feel, like it's the same as, and that energy, and this is, everybody loves like, oh, but I'm not picking on anybody. Like the bullies that you talked about, that's the same fucking energy as the dickheads who have to put everybody down and bully people and talk shit to them because they're so insecure. So that energy of a big bully that you have, that you think, oh, I'm not doing that, dude. I'm just like, I just hate myself and I'm just like keeping to myself. That's such bullshit. And this is where I come back to my philosophy of it's all or nothing. Because sitting in your room with these fucking negatives, so coming back to that spray thing, right? So it's like you're sitting in your room stewing and like you hate yourself or you hate someone else. People love to go, but I don't hate anyone else. I just hate myself. I'm like, it's the fucking same, bitch. You are spreading just like that bully that you judge and you hate so much because you think, how could they be doing this to the earth? How could they be doing this to the world? How could they be in a leader position and be just so fucked and so like negative and just sending out so much negativity? There is no difference from them doing that to you sitting in your room with this toxic energy that sprays infinitely, forever, never ending and never stops. It touches everyone and everything negatively and hurts. It's toxic because you're riding the bicycle backwards, because you're in your head, because you're pushing, because you're sick, because you're miserable, because you have excuses, because of your mom, because of your ex, because of the money. There's no difference. So I'm not going to give you space to go comfort yourself and be like, oh, what's the big deal? It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. So the reason my clients get to feel this is because I am it. I love it when I ask, like, who do you know that has it all? And they're like, you're the only one. That's why I'm talking to you, bitch. And I was like, okay, like, thank you. Right. I just was writing this back to a client. I was like, I had never met a woman who had it all. If you're spiritual, you cannot be sexy because you're a whore. If you're rich, you cannot be feminine because that's weak. If you have a good body, you can't have a business or you can't get paid for it because fitness people are lower on the income scale. You're just in the fitness industry and you can never make as much as like a corporate chick who's in her masculine. These were all of the programs and they're so prehistoric. They're so old school. But dude, be honest with yourself. Do you have it all? Be real honest. Obviously not, right? Because it's very rare right now. And I am here to change this. And I'm literally starting a revolution and showing up because not that long ago, I didn't believe that I could have it all either. I always thought something had to give. My business started kicking ass, then I'd fucking get sick. My body was banging, then my relationships were shit. There was always a negative connection to success, winning, and love. Always. And this isn't because I was abused, because I have shit tons of women who technically in the term were not sexually abused or physically abused. Obviously, we all come out with this program, I'm not enough. So that's what I'm talking about. And that's why I always get to the root. And that's why my women transform, because I'm not hyper-focusing on symptoms like in therapy. I actually did an episode on that one. Quit hyper-focusing on your symptoms. So freaking pause and go listen if you haven't already. That's the epitome of why talk and no do. And, oh, I'm going to do this. Well, then go fucking do it, bitch. Like, that's not going to help anyone or anything. That's just creating more noise. So there's this huge, beautiful healing and opportunity that we have. And not because there's a separation between men and women, but because when I was creating, I've said this before in a podcast, I became my own mentor because I didn't know a woman. I still don't. I do not know a woman in the sexual healing industry who has this, who can go beast mode and who has this who talks about like the spirituality part of it too, and who is totally embodied and not self-harming. Because what I find is the people who are our healers and our coaches, like they're just trying to save. Like so many nurses I meet are super overweight, teachers, so many other healers that I meet. It's like they're just so, I have to save. And it's the good girl syndrome, like I talked about a couple episodes ago. And so they're self-harming. So like our teachers and our healers, I mean, dude, I just read an article on physician burnout. Like the doctors, like everybody is burning out. Our leaders that are supposed to be in this industry teaching do not have it all. And they are not only because we know we don't stay the same. We either are we're either moving, growing, healing, and getting stronger, or we are reverting, getting weaker, getting sicker, getting more anxious and dying. So our leaders and teachers, the majority, are on the backwards pedal, burning out, self-harming. I'm not good enough. And these are the people trying to teach people to have it all. The ones going backwards on the bike, freaking suffering burnout and going, how the fuck did I get so low? Like, oh my God, I'm so miserable. It is insane. And this isn't how we were meant to live. There's not this perfect equation where I can always be like, okay, so you're never going to feel pain again. You're never going to get uncomfortable. And that's not what I'm promising. But what I do know for a fact is that there is a process to get out of our head and into our body instantly. And once we've embodied, we can now reprogram. So whatever in your life isn't working, it's not going to change because you're getting older and doing the same thing. It's only going to be getting worse and more painful. So there are a few steps that, like, first of all, we have to be embodied. And if we don't want to hurt this earth and watch our daughters go through what we went through, just the idea of anyone else suffering the way that I suffered spiritually, sexually, emotionally, business-wise, I'd go home and I would just lay there. Like I literally feel like that psycho it was totally a Adam Sandler movie. I don't know which one, but one of the dudes in there made a hit list from like when they were kids. He calls the dude and he's like, hey, I'm sorry that I bullied you. And the guy's like, oh, no worries, that's fine. And then he goes to his list and he like crosses him off the hit list. Like he doesn't have to kill him. It's like I would go home and sit in my bed and just think about like I was sending out, literally the most painful, evil, like low frequency vibes, the same ones that are freaking killing the Great Barrier Reef. I was doing the same thing that the evil leaders that we judge and look at and think that they're so different than us. I was doing that same thing by sitting in my room all by myself, stewing, hating myself, judging other people, thinking about all the stupid shit that I'd done. Why can't I be better? And then, yeah, of course, it always was with others and with me. Like, there's no difference. So my intention for you today is to tell you that I know it's possible to have it all because I do, and because I'm teaching my women how to do it super fast. You can't absorb this if you want to have excuses. So if you're like, oh, well, if you have an excuse, don't fucking hit me up. Literally do not, because I'm just going to square you up and be like, you're in a victim mentality and I can't help you. If you have an excuse, then go ahead and fucking marry your excuses and see how that works out for you. See how that affects your body and your business and your relationships. Like, fine, that's okay. I can't help everybody right now. And my purpose is to help the women who are leaders. I literally word it like we are on the Amazonian island. I have these Wonder Women. They are showing up going, I want to change the frequency of Mother Earth. I want to lift it. And holy fuck, total goosebumps, right? I have been literally feeding into all the pain and negativity and all of the stories for like why I can't have it all, why I can't make money and have the relationship and be sexy and love what I do and have energy. They show up going, I don't want to have any excuses, any buts, any more reasons. I'm ready to learn this. And so this is who I work with. I call them the 1%ers. I'm working with leaders. Who I don't work with is women who are sitting on the couch, refusing to get up and scrolling through their phone, not working because they don't want to, because I got fired because my boss was a dick, not working out because it's too hard and I don't want to do that. And you ain't my woman. This program isn't for you, and that's okay, right? You'll find if you really want to shift, not everybody needs to hold the leader frequency, but that's who my program is for. So these women who are literally ready to have it all, because that's what a leader does. You can't be a leader if you're eating dog shit and you're suffering and you're sending out negative fucking energy and lies out to the society going, oh yeah, it's so hard and I can't do this and I hate this person. That's not a leader. That's a really negative person hurting everybody and everything. I know you can have it all, just like I know you can learn how to ride a damn bike. So if you're ready to seriously step up into this like space where it's like, holy fuck, because do you want to know what the best way to teach people is? It ain't by knocking on doors and shoving pamphlets down people's throats. It ain't by enabling and going, I'm sorry that your life is so hard for you. It's by actually being it. It's by every day stepping up. And dude, every time I do something huge, I fully get like this. Oh, I say this all the time. Like every time I start a new program to up level so I can share this truth with even more women at once and have more clients at a time. And this just totally exponentially grows everything in my life. Like my strength, I need to be stronger to help more women. So I am never going to stop training because I am always going to want to share and lift the frequency of Mother Earth. But every time I do something massive, I'm like, oh, this is uncomfortable. This is new. Fuck. Oh my God, I've never done this before. And this is what it takes, because 99% will quit when they get that feeling. Not interested. It's uncomfortable. I'm going to go numb out with the fucking potato chips, the booze, with the negativity and gossip and talk shit and judge others and be fat, miserable, negative. That's cool. That's what most people will choose to do, because that threshold of when you freaking feel that energy through your body and you're like, my vision is so big, I'm ready. And when you actually understand the magnitude of lifting your frequency and showing up and holding this truth, like when you can understand how big of effect that has, then you can't, like, how can there be another option? If we are showing up going, I don't want women to feel shame around having sex. So many women who haven't even been sexually abused have more shame and can't orgasm with partners, or can't orgasm at all, or have to use porn, or feel disgusted by their vagina, or hate everything about their bodies, and just because it's sick and they can't sleep. Like, I do not want another woman to feel that, because I felt that every fucking day. That was my uniform. Shame, disgust, guilt, misery, jealousy, pain, chronic pain, insomnia. I was just drinking poison and therefore spraying it out like infinite skunks that the spray never stops. How is that for you? Do you want to be the negative fucking skunk spraying poison out everywhere? That's not cool with me. I'm not okay with that, because I know that I got to rock bottom and I wanted to die and I suffered for a long time. And I know the possibilities that I'm going to be pushing the pedals anyway while I'm alive. So why not use my energy for positive healing and lifting the frequency by being? And the difference is undescribable. Like everybody, I'm a different person. I just heard this today from a client. She's like, been in the program for a few weeks. She's like, I'm a different person. Everything has changed. Like, I am healing. I've stepped into my healing power. She's doing one-to-one healings. She's doing group healings. I'm totally covered in goosebumps. Like, this program is for leaders and women who are ready to step up and share their healing gifts their way. Because if you're already pedaling, why the F not would you not want to help our daughters who are growing up feeling ashamed and disgusting and seeing all this crap on social media and just like fear and pain and misery? Like, why would we not want to say, hey girl, Hey, baby girl, your body is so beautiful and you are a queen and you are a Wonder Woman. And like, oh my gosh, your yoni is so beautiful. And like your breasts. And when we feel love and energy, like this is so sacred and this is amazing. And this is our healing power. And you can't fucking do that if you hate yourself, no matter how many people you quote or how many positive things you regurgitate. It does not work unless you've learned how to make the shift inside, which is what I teach. So if you are like, God damn, Lani, I am a leader and I know this is for me and I have goosebumps. If you have goosebumps, then you fucking know this is for you. If you're all pissed and bitchy, then like, this isn't for you. And yeah, I mean, I stand here as a leader because I want to share love. So if you have this same energy and you're like, you're speaking my language, then you need to freaking reach out, sister, because this is for you. And there's not another, how could there possibly be an excuse big enough to suffer for one more day, right? Like that's just crazy. So if you know that this is for you, then I'm going to give you a link to send me an application and we can go from there. If you know, send in this application. And if it were a good match, then we'll do a strategy session, a free chat where the chats have like fucking changed women's lives. I've heard so many women be like, oh my God, okay, clarity in my life. I didn't even fucking know that. Holy shit. Like, this has been the biggest help like of any work I've ever done. So it's going to fully help you out and be super valuable. I'll put the link in show notes, but you can jot down the link now or pause this and then get your notes up and I'll give it to you here. So it's iam.laninalu.com/strategy. STRATEGY for strategy session. I'm calling in. This is how my energy goes. I work with the most creative, extraordinary, badass, fucking mind-blowing women ever. This program is not for people in a victim mentality. That is totally different than, like, we obviously speak our truth and I teach you how to push the ego back. But if there is any buts or reasons why you can't, then this program isn't for you. If you're ready to fully unleash your fucking power like I have and change the world and nothing and no one can hurt you anymore because you don't hate yourself and you're just ready to learn how to harness this and share it and spread it like this infinite amount of love. Like instead of like a skunk that's like poisonous and infinite killing the earth, you are like this amazing unicorn or like Care Bear just spraying this love infinitely, then you definitely need to hit up that link and send me an application. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. If you know somebody in your life who you're like, she's a fucking leader and she's ready, send her this podcast because I'm always happy to connect with sisters and badasses. My mission is to change the frequency of Mother Earth and to teach women that we can have it all because my mentors were men and I never had a woman who brought in the feminine. It's unheard of. I've still not met one. I'm changing the game here, and so are the women coming into my program, and enough is enough. Our fucking daughters and you cannot grow up like this, feeling ashamed for having a vagina and not being able to enjoy orgasms and not thinking that we can have a family and money and the body. Like I'm not standing for that anymore. So if you're like, fuck yeah, dude, then let's share this together. I would love your help. Thanks for listening. So much love for you. I love comments, and yeah, super stoked to connect with you guys. Love you so much. See you next week.